Around 2600 BCE, the standard model for a successful ancient civilization looked like this. In ancient Egypt, pharaohs consolidated their power by directing the labor of thousands into massive, sun-baked monuments. Across the Middle East and Mesopotamia, the story followed a similar pattern. Powerful kings ruled from heavily fortified cities, separating themselves from the public behind imposing stone walls. For a long time, historians assumed this was the only way a complex society could function. That changed in the 1920s, when archaeologists began uncovering a forgotten world buried beneath the soil of South Asia. This was the Indus Valley Civilization. At its peak, its urban centers were more advanced and occupied more territory than both Egypt and Mesopotamia combined. Yet as excavations continued at sites like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, investigators realized something was missing. They found no giant palaces, no statues of dictators, no grand royal tombs, and no massive temples. The complete absence of royal and military monuments challenges the traditional assumption that a king was necessary for a society to succeed on this scale. Instead of building tombs for a ruler, the Indus Valley people directed their wealth toward public infrastructure. Their monuments were the cities themselves. Their urban planning was remarkably sophisticated. They utilized a rigid grid system intersecting at precise 90-degree angles. Cities were split into two zones. A raised citadel housed community structures, while a sprawling lower town provided housing. To build on this massive scale, they used highly uniform, kiln-baked bricks. This provided a structural strength that allowed their homes and walls to survive long after the sun-dried mud of other civilizations crumbled. The foundations of these homes show a focus on standardized domestic health. Nearly every house, regardless of its size, featured a private bathing area and an internal courtyard. These private baths were all linked to an enclosed street drainage system. These stone-lined channels carried waste away from the homes, representing some of the most advanced civic engineering in the ancient world. Directing resources toward universal plumbing and standardized bricks suggests a society built around shared civic needs, rather than the glorification of a monarch. Without a central military commander to enforce the law, the question remains, who actually maintained this complex standardized system? The clues lie in these steatite seals. They feature intricate carvings of animals and a script that remains undeciphered, pointing toward a powerful merchant class. In a society without minted currency, these stone seals functioned as identifiers. They allowed merchants to mark their goods, ensuring consistency across a vast economic network. This network was massive. They managed sea routes through the port of Lothal and overland routes that reached deep into Central Asia, trading everything from grain to lapis lazuli. To keep this international barter system functioning, they relied on a strictly standardized system of weights and measurements, ensuring fair trade across thousands of miles. Current evidence suggests Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro were mercantile city-states. A powerful consortium of traders likely managed the civilization, maintaining order through economic cooperation rather than royal decree. By 1800 BCE, this stable, wealthy society began to disappear. The cities were slowly abandoned, leaving behind nothing but empty brick foundations. Early historians often blamed a sudden invasion for this collapse, but modern archaeological evidence finds no proof of a massive military conflict. Modern researchers believe the civilization was dismantled by severe shifts in the environment. The very rivers that supported their agriculture began to change. A combination of tectonic earthquakes and shifting monsoon patterns likely triggered the decline, disrupting the predictable water cycles the cities depended on. This created a fatal chain reaction. As rivers moved or dried up, crops failed. This destroyed the food supply and severed the trade routes that held their economy together. This decline happened over generations, as starvation and failing infrastructure forced families to slowly abandon the cities their ancestors had built. The Indus Valley shows that a complex civilization could prioritize civic health and shared resources over royal monuments. Yet its disappearance suggests that even the most meticulous planning is ultimately subject to the forces of the natural world.